Hi, Christine.
Hey, Aaron. How are you?
You're good.
Is my Wi-Fi okay?
Yeah, are you must not be in Provo if you're outside.
Oh, I am. This is my backyard.
It's cool enough out there, even
Yeah,
in the
it's in the
shade.
shade. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
the mountain's right here. It's just all whited out.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Kira.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh,
Are you staying cool in the collective?
No, it's so hot in here today.
I bet.
I stopped into the collective today and I sent Kira a picture because my 3-year-old was just like sitting in front of the fan, just like wouldn't move from that spot.
So cute. This guy was using the DIY stand, so when I rang him up, I felt so bad because he was wearing a gray t-shirt and it was just so wet. I was like, I'm so sorry. It's so hot in here. Thank you for still coming.
You all need a new building.
Or some major improvements.
Yeah.
Hi, Curtis. Glad you could join.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Heather, perfect. We'll give people a few minutes.
Are you in Montana, Christine?
Am I in Montana?
Yeah, where are you?
No, I'm in Utah.
Oh, okay.
I'm in my backyard.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yeah. The Y is like over there somewhere.
Gotcha. Cool. I wish I was in Montana right now. So.
Why was the assumption Montana?
I know.
I don't know, like the tree over her shoulder. I don't know. And I like my yeah,
like
I don't know.
Grapevine.
Yeah.
Hi, Hugh.
I like Hugh's angle. It looks cool. So, Christine, may I ask where you're going on vacay? Actually, it's probably not even vacation. You guys are you going to the Galapagos again? Where are you going?
My husband has a conference in Austria, so I'm gonna tag along.
There it is. That's cool.
I'm gonna work while I'm there, so I don't know how vacation-y it is, but it'll be new scenery. So that will be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we'll get started. We have 8 here. It's a good round number. Good prime. Is that a prime number, right? No, not a prime number. The opposite of a prime number. Very easily divided. Okay. Anyway, we'll start with some introductions, and then as others join, that's great too. So I'll start. I'm Christine Franson, Executive Director. You all know me, so this is nothing new. Aaron, you go ahead next.
Yeah, I'm Aaron Scavlin. I'm the Director of Operations.
And Curtis, our special guest today.
Yes, hello. Curtis Herring, Executive Director of the Utah Transit Riders Union.
Thanks for joining. Heather.
I'm Heather Scavland. I live in the Franklin neighborhood. And I'm helping with Bike to School Week.
Yes, we'll give you guys some time to talk about that. Kira.
Kira Johnson. I am the volunteer coordinator for BikeWalk Provo and the director of Provo Bicycle Collective.
Thanks, Kira. And Karen, are you there?
I'm here. I'm the newsletter editor. Hi, Karen Todd.
Thanks for joining, Karen, and for reminding everyone to come to this meeting. Jacob.
I'm Jacob Brooks. I'm the creative director and the head of the rack crew.
Thanks, Jacob. And Hugh?
Hey everybody, Hugh Van Wagenen. I'm a Joaquin resident. I help out with Bike to School Week, and by day, I'm an active transportation planner.
Thanks, Hugh. Clark?
Hi, Clark Bixton, Lakeview South neighborhood. I am the director of data and research with BikeWalk Provo.
Thanks, Clark. Logan, I've never in my life seen you in a car. Tell me more.
It does happen from time to time. This is my mother's van. I'm Logan. I'm from the Hubble Creek Bike Association down in Springville.
Logan lives car-free and does some impressive moving with his cargo bike. Logan also gave a really nice talk with the LDS Earth Stewardship Group, and I think it's available now online, a recording of it if any of you guys want to watch that. It was really nice.
It is. I can drop a link in the chat if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then the Utah County Health Department is here. I'm guessing that is Dakota. It is.
Yeah, gosh dang it, guys. I'm sorry. That happens every time. But yeah, I'm Dakota. I'm part of the board. Usually I'm biking at this time, but I came home a little bit early for this. So
nice.
Thanks, y'all. Thanks
for joining. Yes, we're very grateful to have our board members join when they can. So thanks, Dakota. And then my friend Rachel Whipple just joined. Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself? If not, I'll give you a glowing introduction. Okay. Rachel Whipple is one of our city councilors.
Oh, and I figured out how to unmute it. Sorry.
There you are.
And I was at a loss to navigate the new version of the app. So sorry about that. Yeah, no problem. I'm just on the city council. I've been involved with BikeWalk Provo for a few years, although I have not been as active a volunteer lately. I've been doing other things, but still speaking up for bike things and safe streets and things like that at our city council meetings.
Thank you, Rachel. And an avid bike commuter herself, even with a broken ankle. Rachel would bike to her law office across Provo. So good example to us all.
But I could ride a bike, so it works.
It's a benefit. But Rachel just said she cut out a little for me, so just in case, she said she couldn't drive a car because her foot was in a like a boot, but she could ride a bike. So another example of when bikes come to the rescue. I personally have been having a bikes to the rescue moment. This year, my kids are in the same school as some friends. Last year, I didn't have kind of anyone in my neighborhood that was attending the same school. So I'm carpooling for the first time ever. And sometimes I have to take 4 kids, but I only have a car with 1 seat, 1 row. And so it only fits 3 kids, but my cargo bike fits 4 kids. And so instead of having to upgrade to a bigger car or a minivan, I can carpool with the cargo bike, which is pretty fun. And the kids think it's a blast. So they call it the magic bike bus.
Christine, you should do a post about that or something.
Yeah, I should. Yeah. Okay, and then Bremen, thank you for joining. Bremen, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. Bremen Leak, BYU Sustainability Office.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, while I have the mic, I have to congratulate Clark on his beard. If I didn't work for BYU, I would have one of those too.
You know what's funny, Bremen? Clark did work for BYU a few months ago. And so the beard is evidence of a new job.
He's a free man. His follicles are rejoicing. I'm jealous.
No kidding.
My boss already ousted me. He's like, when I knew you and you worked for BYU, you never had a beard. Now that you work for me, you always have one. So I'm forced to conclude that you left so that you could grow a beard.
That's it. No Shave November is coming up, so watch out.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a good agenda today, so we're going to dive in. Several announcements. And the first that I want to start with is I just want to first acknowledge the tragedy that we had in our community this week. Flavia and Ramiro Rojas, 9-year-old and a 10-year-old, were killed while riding their scooters to school on Monday. I know this is stat heavy with me this week. I'm sure with many of you too. It's been on my mind, and their families have been on my mind, and it certainly motivates me in the work that we're doing to make our streets safer. I just wanted to also note that their funeral services are this evening. If any of you are available or interested in attending, details are on our BikeWalk Provo chat group, as well as our Slack channel. If you're not on those, I'm sure we can give you details as well. But just wanted to note that if you're able to attend. Another announcement is that we have the Utah Pedestrian Summit coming up. It's hosted by UDOT, and it's on September 14th. It's an all-day event, and we will be there. BikeWalk Provo will be representing kind of in a few capacities. We'll be on the panel discussion. We'll also be hosting a walking tour during the day. So if you're interested in joining, I think registration is $25. It's free for students. And if if anyone needs help with the registration fee, that's something we can help with too. But yeah, encourage you to attend if you're available on Wednesday, September 14th. And then we have a few announcements from members of our group. So I'll just hand it over to a few people. First, Kira, do you want to announce the social ride?
Yes, we have a social ride hosted by the Provo Bicycle Collective on Friday, and Dr. Mike Rotter, Chelsea's partner. Chelsea's not on right now, but he is going to be leading the ride, and we're going to be doing about a 6-mile loop of urban trees. So we'll stop at a few different trees, and he'll explain how cool they are, and it should be a nice, peaceful, great way to spend your Friday. That's 6:30 on Friday. Meet at Provo Bicycle Collective.
Thanks, Kara. I don't see James here yet. Oh, do I? Sorry, I'm maybe not seeing all participants now because we're having more than
Christine, he said he'd be running a little bit late.
Okay, perfect. When James joins, we'll give him some time. We're at the end. I think we also have, Hugh and Heather are going to tell us a little bit about Bike to School Week that's coming up.
Thanks, Christine. Heather, well, I guess I can talk about Heather sort of taking the school side of things and getting folks signed up for that. And I'm trying to take the business side of things and get people to donate prizes, or, Kira at the collective has some things they're giving out, and they're also doing bike checkup stations at a couple of schools that week, which is great. So far, let's see if I can remember everybody. The Department of Workforce or Department of Public Safety is donating some things. The Utah County Health Department has some bike rodeos that are available for schools to check out and run. Mad Dog Cycles is committed. DOU Outdoors Unlimited is committed. Taylor's Bike Shop is committed. Gary's Bike Shop, I think I need to follow up with them, and Hangar 15 I need to follow up with, but I think, sort of the usual players, which is always really helpful. And this year we're going to, just like last year, gather all of the prizes and sort of bundle them for each school, so we can be sure there's sort of an equitable distribution of the prizes every year. So Heather, do you want to give an update on school participation?
Sure. Okay, so as of like Monday, we didn't have anyone, so I was getting really nervous. But we have 4 elementary schools so far. I've also asked so we have Rock Canyon, Edgemont, Timpanogos, and Canyon Crest signed up. I've followed up with all of those PTA presidents who have signed up, and then I've put out another request for the district-wide PTA president to reach out to all of the other schools. She just got back to me and said her secretary was sending out another reminder to all of the PTA presidents and that Provo High School had their dates confused. So they're planning on it. They just haven't responded. So hopefully I'm hoping by tomorrow we'll have even more people, more schools signed up. Oh, and it's September 12th through the 16th. And also thanks to, I think it was Chelsea who did like the Facebook post or the event and like the website info.
Yeah, thanks. I think there's normally been around 10 schools or so, and it's the end of summer, things are just getting going. So I anticipate there'll be more. And we do sort of rely on that, the district-wide PTA president to disseminate information to all the new presidents out there every year. And I failed to mention the Board of Provo, the skate shop is also participating. They have for a couple of years now, which is great. And so I'll try and put together just a little thank you, or Chelsea, if you want to collaborate just on how to thank those businesses through social media that are participating in Bike to School Week, that'd be great. Thank you.
Chelsea says, happy to help.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the work you guys do to make this happen every year. And if there's anything that we can do to help encourage schools to participate, or, I think a good thing to do too is just let people know that it's happening, word of mouth, and of course participate ourselves if we have kids going to those schools. So thank you, and let us know if there's anything else you need to make
Christine,
it
can
successful.
I mention one more thing? Sorry, before you move on.
Yeah,
and this is for Dakota. I don't know, Dakota, if you're familiar. I think Box Elder County with the Bear River Health Department is doing a Bike to Everywhere week, the same week, the 12th through the 16th. And so they have a promotion running.
Yeah, I just talked with Pam Chapman earlier today, and she mentioned that it's going to be a whole week. I guess they bumped it up from a single day to a whole week. So it's a big one.
It's pretty cool.
And then Clark, you asked a question about kind of what it entails. So typically, like, I think last year at Timpanogos, I'll just kind of tell you what we did. So usually you need a couple volunteers. So the PTA president is going to delegate that task, hopefully, to parents or adults who want to participate. What we've done at Timpanogos is we've had tickets that we give every kid who comes by bike, scooter, by foot, any non-vehicular mode of transportation. We've given like little pieces of candy out. They also get a ticket. And then we, at our school, I think schools kind of decide this for themselves, but they've had a drawing every day. So those tickets go into a bucket, and then names get pulled, and then they get the prizes from the places that Hugh had talked about. And so that's kind of how we've done it. Of course, the PTA president and PTA as a whole needs to get the information disseminated to all the kids. So we've provided them with like a packet for that. But if you at Lakeview want to reach out, if you know who your PTA president is, or if any of you have kids in schools that I didn't mention, it would be great to like encourage them and say, hey, like, we'd love to see this happen at our school, and how can we help if you're available to help. So we usually set up about, I think Hugh was at a half hour before, I can't remember. Maybe we would, like, our school starts at 8:20, 8:15. We would usually be there by 7:30 with a table set up and like have everything ready to go.
Yeah, and 2 people are really helpful if you can spare them.
I would say I think last year we felt like we could have used even a couple more. We had a lot of kids turn out. So
still candy.
So maybe like having even up to 3 or 4 volunteers potentially would be helpful. It depends on your turnout for your school, but.
Got it. Yeah, Lakeview has no buses because everyone lives in the walk zone. So even at baseline without Bike to School Week, we just have like tons and tons of bikes and scooters. So it sounds like it would be intensive, but probably worth it. Cool.
It's really fun. Like that was one of the best weeks I had last year, was just like seeing all those kids come in, and it was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. It's a fun week, and it's cool. It's encouraging to see. Thanks again. And yeah, if you have a contact or can help volunteer, reach out to your PTA. It sounds like is the best move. And the flyers, like Heather mentioned, are also on our website. Chelsea did put the Bike to School Week flyers there, and you can share the Facebook event also. Okay, is that all for Bike to School Week? Any other comments or questions? Okay, awesome. It looks like James Hall is able to join. So James, Erin mentioned that you have a report to give on a meeting yesterday about our trails meeting.
Correct.
That's what I believe.
Yep.
Can you share?
Sure. So we met at Slate Canyon at the pavilion. There were representatives from UVTA, which is the Utah Valley Trail Association. And they're kind of the driver of a lot of the trail development that's happening along the Utah County part of the Wasatch Front. There was also someone there from Conserve Utah and the Outlaw mountain bike team, which is based here in Provo. We had a good conversation. The sort of status of everything is right now the trail master plan is being reviewed by the Forest Service, and it includes several phases of new trails. Most of them, I believe, are on the backside of Squaw Peak Road in Pole Canyon. So a lot of new trails proposed through there. And then the other big area of focus is the Bonneville Shoreline Trail and finding a way to get it to connect all the way through Provo, which is quite challenging right now. One of the things that Brandon Blue, who is the leader of Utah Valley Trails, was looking for was different organizations to take on or adopt portions of trails and provide trail maintenance and work days. Essentially, that means people show up with rakes and shovels and pickaxes and expand the width of the trails where necessary, and also just cleaning up any of the damage that can happen from erosion. I didn't volunteer BikeWalk Provo for anything specific yet. I did tell them that we're typically more transit and commuter oriented, not so much about recreational cycling and trails, although there are many here that enjoy that. So I think that we could potentially provide some volunteer lift for some of that, but I'm not sure. I obviously want to speak with the leadership here on whether or not it's a good idea for us to officially adopt a portion of the trail, of any of the trails. Bonneville Shoreline probably is the most likely candidate because it's the closest to the valley and most accessible. But yeah, I think they're still going to be waiting for the Forest Service to give final approval to that plan. And then they'll start some of the new trail development. And I think as time progresses, they'll be looking for more involvement from some of the community organizations to help. So yeah, happy to answer any questions anyone has or add any more color if necessary.
James, how short could the section be? Could it be like 100 yards? I mean, really small section?
I think it probably depends on what we want to offer. So 100 yards could be very intensive, right? There's portions in Slate Canyon that they were talking about. The city's already approved just south of the Slate Canyon Pavilion to widen the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. That would be a pretty intensive lift. And I think there's already a community member who's volunteered to lead that charge. I think it's up to us. If we want to offer, hey, one day a year, we'll rally the troops and try and tackle a portion of Bonneville Shoreline, or if we want to adopt a portion that's already in good shape and do a couple hours each year of maintenance. I think it's up to us and what we gauge as sort of our involvement level. Of course, I'm happy to go out and do trail building days, but I don't want to volunteer everyone else because I know we've got a lot of other exciting projects in the works as well.
Any other questions for James? Thank you for attending, representing us there, and learning more.
Sure.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I'll keep everyone
Okay,
posted.
and then, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We have a few people that joined that I would like to introduce themselves. Usually we only do this at the beginning, but I just appreciate everyone joining. So if you're willing and able, I'm gonna call on some more people to introduce themselves to the group. And then we're gonna have just the remaining of the agenda will be Clark will give us an update on the bike ped counts, and then we'll turn over the time to Curtis for the Utah Transit Rider from the Utah Transit Rider Union to give us some information about their organization. Before we do that, if they are willing, Chelsea, can you introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Chelsea. I'm the communications director with BikeWalk Provo. If you're on our social, you saw me on our story earlier being a dork, reminding you about the meeting. So thanks.
I loved it. Thank you, Chelsea. And then Stephanie West, can you introduce yourself?
Yep, Stephanie West, and just a resident of South Provo. And we've been in BikeWalk Provo, I'm not sure, for a little while, but we just come whenever we can. We're a little busy.
No, yeah, you guys do awesome help. You're awesome help for us. And then Marie, I see if you're available and want to introduce yourself.
Yes, this is Marie-Laure, and I'm just the resident. I'm a teacher, and I have kids biking all over town. So.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining. What school are you a teacher at?
Edgemont.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for joining. And then Marcia, Marcia Judkins is a member of our board. Marcia, are you available to introduce yourself?
I am. Hi. So, yep, I'm Marcia Judkins. I am a member of the board, and I'm really happy to join you today. I'm also a state representative, so sometimes that gets bad reviews, but either way, that's what I am. So.
Thank you, Marcia. I know you're a busy lady. Thank you for taking the time to join us today and for the work you do for BikeWalk Provo and for the state.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. So I think that's everyone that joined. Oh, no, Austin, another board member. Thank you for joining. Can you introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Austin. Been volunteering since 2015, and I'm a board member.
Thanks, Austin. All right, Clark, the floor is yours. Utah, or I don't know why I keep saying that. Bike ped counts. Can you give us the details for this year?
Yes. So this will be our third year with this bike and pedestrian count initiative. We skipped 2020, but we've done this in 2019 and 2021. The idea is to gather up some people power and go out and spend some time in the community, in places that are well used for active transit, and get a good count for how many people are using those places. This is based on kind of a national coalition that got together and put together kind of a protocol for this yearly count. This year is particularly exciting because this is looking to kind of form the foundation and the platform for a more intensive picture of what the volumes look like in the city. We've started to talk with Provo City about using some of their cameras for pedestrian counts, and they've started to install traffic cameras that specifically count bicycles and scooters as well as just cars. So this is, but this is kind of the longest standing piece of the active transportation count initiative, and I'm excited to see how we look year over year. It's also just a fun time. So this is about a 2.5 hour commitment, 2 hours of actual sitting and counting, ideally with a partner if we get enough volunteers, and then about a half hour to prep and get there. We try to provide some treats and snacks. We had a really healthy group text going last year. We even got some transit bingo going, I think, on the second day. So and you just get to kind of be outside in the September weather and see people out biking and walking. So lots of good reasons to volunteer, which is good because this unfortunately happens kind of in a time crunch. It's the same week as the Pedestrian Summit and the Bike to School week, unfortunately. We really try to get it in there before the weather starts to change. So the dates for this year, we are targeting September 13th in the early evening. That's a Tuesday. And then the following Saturday, September 17th, in the middle of the day between about 11:30 and 2 p.m. I'm going to, and if the heat wave could break before then, that would be great, Aaron. We have the sign up as a Google form that I posted in the chat, but if you don't get it, don't worry, because we'll also be pushing this on all the social media platforms, and we'll try and send it out in the newsletter as well. So just a heads up, that is coming up, and if you can help, please let me know.
Thanks, Clark. Are there any questions for Clark about our counts this year? Cool. This is a good time. I had a really good spot last year on the Provo River Trail, and I had a very fun time counting. So you get very excited. I mean, I always get excited when I see people biking and walking and scootering, but when you get to tally a number, it's even more fun. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll post more details. Keep an eye out on our newsletter, social channels for like a link to volunteer or more information. So yes, Clark. Numbers, add numbers, it makes it magic.
I'm a data scientist, so I'm doing work with active transportation. So
yes. Awesome. Okay, well, Curtis, the time is now yours. Thank you for being patient through all of our other agenda items. A lot going on, a lot of good things happening, but we're excited to switch gears and hear from Curtis Harding, Executive Director of the Utah Transit Riders Union. He's got a presentation for us, and we'll turn it over to you. Thanks.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank you. No, and it's great to hear about all the stuff that's going on at the down there in Utah County. It's very important work that you guys are doing, and I think one of the reasons that I actually reached out to you guys originally to the board and now to all of you is because in a lot of ways the work that you're doing down there very much aligns with what UTRU is trying to do. I do have a brief presentation because nothing says fun quite like a PowerPoint at 5:30 at night. But yeah, just by way of introduction, yes, my name is Curtis Herring. I am the Executive Director of the Utah Transit Riders Union. We are a nonprofit organization designed to really address the needs of the transit rider all across the state of Utah. What I like to say is we care as much about improving one single block to make it more accessible to pedestrians, bikes, buses, trains. We care just as much about that as we do connecting Logan to St. George with heavy rail transit. We really do want to make sure that people have access to affordable, comfortable, safe, and effective transit all across the state of Utah. And so one of the things that I am doing in my role as executive director is reaching out to like-minded organizations, big and small, to really kind of work together and start building a coalition to help us move away from the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s era of transit, creating cities around cars and starting to create cities and communities around people. And part of that is making sure that people know how to get to transit, be it by foot. I take my bike to the train station every day, and however that may be. And so I want to thank you guys for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you. hopefully I can get a couple members out of us tonight because we're all doing this and we're all on a million different things. But yeah, thank you very much. So I do have a presentation ready for you guys. If I can get that pulled up, hopefully you can see that. There we go. So yeah, let's kind of go through the Utah Transit Riders Union and talk a little bit more about what we are trying to do. And for the board members, I swear I added a couple extra slides, so this might actually be entertaining for you somewhat. So let's talk about what is UTRU. So UTRU was formed in 2015. The Utah Transit Riders Union was created to advocate for transit users statewide, as I was saying, to really make sure that we are making transit that's reliable, accessible, comfortable, efficient, and affordable for all. And most importantly, we want to create a transit affirming culture that says that it is okay to take the bus. It is okay to take the train. It's okay to ride your bike. You don't get judged for that. We welcome people of all ages and from all social, cultural, economic backgrounds who use public transit out of necessity, convenience, or the common good. Together, we really do advocate for the best transit system, both today and in the future. We are a statewide organization, as I said. We want to improve routes all the way from Logan to St. George, everything in between. So let's talk a little bit about what UTRU's goals actually are. So first of all, we do want affordable transit, and that means transit systems that understand their role as community infrastructure. Transit is not an amenity. It is a necessity for communities everywhere. We want transit that is accessible. Accessibility means that systems actively serve the needs of minorities and disadvantaged communities, who in turn become fundamental to the system's long-term and strategic financial health. And then because when we provide accessibility as a priority, it helps everyone. We want reliable transit systems that allow people to make life-changing decisions about where and how they live, knowing that they will still be there 5 years from now when UTA changes their routes, or if a bike path in a trail gets upgraded or downgraded, they need to know it will be there. So we want reliable transit systems. And again, helping disadvantaged people so that they can become vibrant members of their community and grow with their community. We also want efficient transit systems, efficient systems that are able to accomplish more with the limited resources that they unfortunately receive. This doesn't just mean serving more riders, but serving them better. We want efficient systems that help the communities by being resource aware and resource wise. We want comfortable transit. No one wants to be on an uncomfortable chair. So we want to encourage widespread adoption of the community by resulting in increased ridership and more political capital. Comfortable transit system achieve those goals. If people are comfortable using the system, they will advocate for systems. And then we finally we also want an affirming transit culture that legitimizes transit and reinforces the dignity of the transit rider. This increases and inoculates riders against the occasional inconveniences that are there. But put it another way, we basically want to grow systems so that they have loyal users in the end. So let's talk a little bit about UTRU and our short-term and long-term goals and visions. So first of all, some of our short-term goals. We want to build membership by reaching out to like-minded organizations through earned media. We have a very snarky Twitter feed that I'm very proud of that's full of memes and all of that sort of stuff, but also through earned media and reaching out. We want to engage in coalition building. That's why I'm here tonight, through collaboration with local, regional, state, and actually now national organizations to advocate for transit growth and sustainability. We also want to create, build, and support chapters based on geography, transit types, routes, and community interests. So for example, we are starting, we are starting one up at the University of Utah, but if BYU wants to get on board, they are more than welcome to as well. But that's obviously a very specific kind of geography and community interest. But that being said, Provo is an area. Bicycle riders is a type of chapter. If you use Front Runner as a route, or as a community interest, females, minorities, people who have beards. If those are the types of things that you want to form a chapter around, we are starting to build that organization up, because ultimately, UTRU only works because of the people on the ground. You guys know what Provo needs better than I do. And living in Bountiful, I know what Bountiful needs better than the people of Murray do. And so if we have more people in more places advocating for more roles, UTRU can grow and become a true statewide force. Let's talk about some of our long-term vision. So we want to create and maintain citizen input boards on all of the general transit systems, as well as on UDOT. We want to be at the center of citizen-led transportation groups, both big and small. We want to be a resource for people and organizations to help fight for better transit, being better sidewalks, better bike routes, better bus stops, better train stations. We want to be at the center of that and fight for those items. We also want to identify and advocate for underserved communities within existing transit systems. For example, down in your area, Saratoga Springs on the other side of the lake has abysmal transit. Up in pretty much anywhere west of I-15 is not great, pretty much up and down the valley. And so we want to advocate for greater access in those underserved areas. We also want to expand successful transit routes. If it's working, let's keep those routes working and build off of them. I always like to say one best route is good, but 2 is better and 3 is even better than that. We also want to look for areas that would benefit from the creation of transit systems. There are a lot of small town communities that can have systems, but the political will isn't there yet, and we want to start to build that. We also want to provide ongoing training and tools for citizen engagement at the local, city, region, and state level, depending on the nature of the work that they are doing. And then we want to promote programs that increase mass transit ridership. We always like to talk about that first mile, last mile, and that's where organizations like you guys come in. You need to get to the bus stop in order to use it. But if we can increase that mass transit ridership, that benefits everybody, not just the commuter, not just the 9-to-5er, but for lifelong transit use that uses pedestrians and bikes and scooters as part of their overall transit mix. And then finally, and I only have this one in because UTRU really is a transit union. We want our goals to have identified through our members. Our members guide us and tell us what we want to do and where we want to go and what we want to look like. We are very much a grassroots organization. And as the executive director and our board of directors, we listen to what our members are asking for. So on that note, let's talk about some of the upcoming activities that we have going on. Actually, currently, we are doing a Bikes on Transit survey. If any of you guys use Front Runner or the buses, I am sure you've noticed that there's been an increase in bikes. I know I've noticed it on mine. I've had a harder and harder time finding a rack on Front Runner. And so that kind of sprungboard a conversation amongst our board to ask, well, is this really just us? Is this really just a thing? Or is this something that's being seen through the community? And so far, it does appear that, yes, more bikes really are appearing on our buses and our trains. And so, yeah, we are designing it to access it, or to assess if transit agencies are adequately meeting the needs of cyclists and non-cyclists alike. It's going to guide our response based off of the survey results. And then we're actually going to be closing it this coming Monday, September 5th. So if you guys want to hop on, I would certainly encourage you to do so. You're just going to want to go to bit.ly/UTRU_bike_survey. I can throw that in the chat as well before we're done. But I encourage you guys to hop on, add your voice, because we will be presenting this information primarily to UDOT, although we also have had some input from Logan's Transit District as well. Another thing that we are going to be doing is a Women and Transit survey. This is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks, and it actually came from the bike survey because we noticed that there was a disproportionate amount of men responding to our bike survey. And we want to make sure that we are truly capturing every transit rider. So that sprungboard the conversation. We want to assess reasons why women are or are not using transit. Is it safety and security? Is it accessibility or convenience? Is it difficulty boarding or riding with children? Is it just the routes? Are they not good routes that meet their needs? So we're going to be opening that up September 6th, the day after the transit survey, or the bike survey, excuse me, closes. So I don't have a link for it yet, but if you go over to utru.org, we will have that up on the 6th as well. So another item that we have coming up is our quarterly membership meeting. At our quarterly membership meeting, it's going to be this coming Saturday, September 17th from 10 to 11:30 a.m. It will be virtual if you're able to attend, so you can still wear your sweatpants, feel free. But scheduled to appear, we are going to have UTA discussing some of the benchmarks necessary for restoring routes post-pandemic, as well as some of the things that they need to do if they decide to create a new route, what goes into that process, and then also the challenges that they are facing with staffing. We're also going to be joined by the Wasatch Front Regional Council to talk about current and future plans to increase biking infrastructure along the Wasatch Front. And then we're also going to be joined by the Utah Rail Passengers Association to discuss recent developments on the federal and state level to bring statewide rail transit to Utah. We're also going to be discussing, kind of like, as I said, Untitled Chapter creation and making a call for officers. We are looking for more officers as part of our ongoing efforts to expand. And so again, this information can be found at bit.ly/UTRU_September SEPT_22. And then on that note is our annual convention. Our annual convention is going to be held in October 15th from 10 to 11, also virtual, so you can stay in your sweatpants. At the convention, we're going to be holding an open forum for members to express the issues that they would like UTRU to discuss. We're also going to be advertising our current chapters, and then we're going to be electing officers. UTRU welcomes everyone to become an officer, but we do want to encourage women, minorities, and people outside of Salt Lake County to strongly consider running, hint, hint, Provo. We would love to hear from you guys and have you part of that as well. So that information can be found at bit.ly/UTRU_October OCT_22. Again, I will put that in the chat as well. So that's my presentation, short and sweet. I know you guys have plenty to do with your day, but if you do have any questions, if you are interested in starting a chapter, if you just want more information about UTRU, contact information is curtis.herring@utru.org. You can also visit us at utru.org. And then, of course, that snarky Twitter feed at rideutru.org. So that's the presentation. I try to make it short and sweet for you guys, but I am happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Curtis.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any questions for Curtis? We're getting some good feedback in the chat. One of Hugh is currently on the train, noting that the racks are overflowing, and so anyway, some good comments for your survey, and I posted that link in the chat also.
Yeah, so I saw that in the newsletter as well, so I appreciate that as well.
Yes, awesome.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, Christine? Is that okay?
Yes, Hugh, ask away.
Thanks. Curtis, thanks for the presentation and what you're trying to do. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday, the 17th as well. I had a question about your relationship, or perhaps lack thereof, with the Utahns for Better Transportation, or UBET. Are you familiar with them? And if so, do you collaborate at all?
To be honest, no, I am not familiar with them. I have not heard from them, but I would be happy to reach out to them. Cool. Yeah, no, to be honest, I am unfamiliar.
All right, no problem. That's why I was asking. Yeah. I will shoot you an email with some contact information just to put y'all in touch. You have very similar goals, and they've been operating in some space for a little while, so I'll make a connection. That's great.
Thanks, Hugh. That's awesome. I think that's exactly why, Curtis reached out, is to connect with like-minded organizations, get people connected. So that sounds like a good one. Aaron, did you have a question? I think you're muted, or at least I can't hear you.
Curtis, what does it take to become a member? You said you wanted us to become members. If we follow you on social media, are we members, or do we need to do something more? And then also, are you looking to start a chapter in Utah County? It seems like we should just be part of the same organization.
Sure. Yeah. So to answer your first question, to become a member, you just go to utru.org/subscribe. I put that in the chat just now. I will warn you, to become a voting member, we do ask for dues, and that accounts for what we say is whatever it costs you to take transit in a day, that is your due for a year. So for example, I go from Bountiful to Ogden. I take my bike most times. So my due is $4 each way, $8 for the year, right? But if you just take the bus, $25 or $2.50 there and back, $5. If you're on paratransit, we'll make an exception for paratransit because that actually can cost more, but not a lot. The dues mostly are just kind of to get you involved with that. As far as chapters are concerned, yes, we would love to have chapters, a chapter down in Utah County, down in Provo. I would love to have a chapter everywhere that there is transit and everywhere where people want transit. And as I kind of said before, we want chapters based on geography. We want chapters based on common interests, like bicycle riders, or for example, if they are take the ski bus. That's another example. One of our board members actually has an article coming out in our upcoming newsletter about transit to trails, taking mass transit to get to a trail that you can hike or bike. And if that is a common interest, then we would love to have a chapter surrounded about that as well. But mostly the idea is that if we have more eyes and ears on the ground, we can advocate better, advocate more locally. One of the things that we want to do is have a survey of bus stops. Which ones are covered? Which one's just a pole? Which one has a chair? Yes, UTA probably has that information in the bowels somewhere. But if we have that information, we can be actionable towards that and move towards that. And that's perfect chapter work. That is, you guys know your area better than I do. And that's how we want to grow U-True, is through those chapters.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'll point out the U is getting a chapter started. So if BYU wants to get involved, I'm not going to stop you guys. I'm fine with that rivalry.
All right. Any other questions? Curtis, I feel like Logan should show you his presentation he did for us. I think it was, when was it? After Free Fair February, right, Logan? Awesome presentation about his use of transit in Utah. So he should share that with you.
I'd love to take a look at it.
And I do follow you there on Twitter. It's fun to see.
Yes, no, I do see a like every once in a while. I do see that image pop up.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, awesome. Last call for questions for Curtis or for any other topics we went over today. All right. Thank you all for joining. Thanks for the work you're doing. Look for updates about Bike to School Week and the bike and ped counts. And looking forward to seeing you in person at some of those events if you're able. All right, so we'll see you next month. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.